Governor-General Bill, Committee stage. Rugby World Cup 2011 Empowering Bill, Committee stage.
Point of order, Keith Locke.
Mr Speaker, I move that it be an instruction to the Committee on the Governor-General Bill that it have the power to consider and, if it thinks fit, adopt the amendments set out on SOP 173 relating to the term of appointment of the Governor-General and the processes of appointment.
Keith Locke.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The reason I've moved this amendment is to clear up any doubt about the relevance of this SOP to the bill when it is considered very shortly in committee stages. One of the clauses, and I understand we're not into a debate on this, but one of the two sections in this SOP relates to the term of appointment of the Governor-General, which relates very directly to the whole question of annuities and the number of years qualifying for those annuities and different rates of annuities. So that is directly relevant to the bill, and I think in a bill like the Governor-General Bill, called the Governor-General Bill, that the process of appointment as outlined in the SOP is also very relevant. I don't wish to get into the debate beyond that, but I'm sure that if those of you who listened to the first and second readings would see that the content of my SOP is very relevant to this matter.
Members, the question is that the motion be agreed to. I call the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr Speaker, I'm rose to speak to the motion on the part of the member and say that I think there is a lot of sympathy on this side of the House for the general cause that he is trying to promote. But I think it's also fair to say that this is late in a process. And it is part of a process that does not involve the Select Committee, which I think members on this side would think was a very important part of a process to have a discussion about republicanism. I think, and so I think, unless the member later on, when he has his right of reply on this notice of motion, or the instruction to the House to consider something to be part of the bill, can give a level of assurance that submitters would be able to debate. He might have a process which, after the committee stages, sends it back to a select committee for submissions, or some other process. But I think members around the House consider this issue as a serious issue, and while on occasions I've myself used shortcuts in order to get things into legislation or to have consideration of particular debate. So I think it's fair to say that this issue is a major issue, one which concerns many New Zealanders. I understand it's fairly evenly balanced as to the approach that people take, but it is certainly one where it's appropriate to have a due process whereby New Zealanders have the right to come to a select committee and to have that debate. Now, I know that the member has previously had legislation to this effect up into the House. It's been considered by the House and rejected, and more's the pity when that rejection occurred, because I think while some of us actually think that the SOP wasn't quite in the form, or the bill that the member had wasn't quite in the form that we would like to support, I think most of us on this side of the House are of the opinion that it is a debate worth having, and if in fact we can shape something up to the form that we need, then that is something that is very important. Mr Speaker, Having said that, and I'm slightly surprised to get the call at this stage, because I thought on a relatively important issue like that, the minister who was in charge of the House would have taken a call to indicate the government's position on this. And I do want to say that...
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
There is one there, she's hiding.
Oh.
Sorry, I think the member was looking to see if there was a minister, but Kate Wilkinson, I think, might have been described as head down and bum up, working on her papers, and is in the House. But I do want to say to the member that he is, in my understanding and in my experience, procedurally correct in his approach. That I have some pretty severe doubts that without this motion, his SOP. His recommendations would be outside the scope of the Governor-General's bill, and I think a ruling from the Speaker would be to that, or a ruling from the Chairman of Committee would be to that effect. And therefore, what the member is doing something to attempt to avoid any doubt. And it's something which is more often done by government members or more often done by ministers when they have supplementary order papers that they want to bring into bills after select committee, or in fact it is possible to do this with a bill that is at a select committee. It is possible for a notice of motion to go to the House which says that a particular, normally again a government notice of motion, which says that notwithstanding the relevant standing order, a supplementary order paper which would otherwise be outside the scope of the bill can be brought into the bill, and a select committee can consider it. And I think that's more often done to a bill which is currently at a committee whereby government members want to do a pretty substantial change, but at the same time they want to provide the opportunity for people for there to be hearings and for people to be brought into the debate, submitters to be brought in so that there can be discussions. But I will be looking forward. I'm assuming that the member's colleague. I want to warn the member, if he takes the next call, the debate is finished. And I'd sort of ask him not to do that, because I think there are some other people who have some views on this particular matter and might want to. But Mr Haig could do that. So, Mr Speaker, can I say that the interim position of the Labor Party on this particular motion is that we will not support it because it looks like process might be abused. But we are not beyond convincing if the member has in his back pocket an arrangement which gets all of this back to the select committee. But I do say that the mere mention of the words Governor-General in the body of a piece of legislation would not normally bring it to the point of being the hook on which a referendum on republicanism or anything significant like that could happen. And while we're generally supportive, we're not supportive of that sort of abusive process. And I might say that I always want to try and be friendly to my mates in the Greens, but generally they are the ones who are sticklers for process. Generally they are the ones who there are, I think, blogs from Materia. There's something called Frog, which comments quite a lot in the new media on the question of parliamentary process, and is very, very critical, both of the National and the Labor parties, when there is any suggestion that process be abused. And I'm just saying that I'm looking forward to Frog blogging on Keith Locke's amendment of this type. Now again, I might be misjudging the member. He might in his back pocket. He's not normally one for secret agendas. I mean, he's actually normally a person who's who's opposed to secret agendas and has done quite a lot of work over time trying to expose